I've been thinking, Andrew, we need to have alien names just in case. You want to know what my alien name's gonna be?
Sure.
Kurt.
Just Kurt? Like,
Yeah.
ooh, you're so Kurt?
Yeah, Kurt. Kurt the alien. It's Kurt the alien. Why do we gotta make it difficult? What's your alien name gonna be?
Hansel.
That's dumb. All right, let's start the show. Welcome to Mostly True Alien Stories. They're coming.
UFO sightings. Many Americans have wondered about dangers of unknown objects.
Scientists in Mexico pulling back the curtain. We need to save ourselves.
Welcome back to Mostly True Alien Stories. This week we are diving into a truly bizarre abduction story from 1978 in Poland, of all places.
Wow.
The Emilcin Abduction. It's got everything: a quiet farmer, a mysterious mechanical beings, and a craft that defies logic. And this one's a local legend in Poland, so it's still debated to this day, and we are going to get into whether it's a real extraterrestrial encounter or just a strange story that got way out of hand. And by we, I mean myself and, of course, my co-host, Andrew Triana. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Neil. What's going on, buddy?
It's nice to see you, man. You know, as we do in every episode, I'm going to lay out the story exactly as it was reported. No embellishments, no exaggerations. Then Andrew and I are going to break it down, see what holds up, and then we'll decide if it belongs in the Mostly True file or not. And of course, we want to know what our listeners think. So make sure you drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know if you're buying into this story or not. But before we get into the tale of a farmer and his unexpected intergalactic visitors, let's turn it over to Andrew for the latest in alien news and entertainment. Andrew, where are we headed today?
To Ireland. Eerie UFO sightings over Ireland. Just the beginning. This is right from Euro Weekly. Apparently, this just recently happened on March the 15th. It was reported on March the 25th.
And today's the 27th as we're recording.
Yep. It says strange lights have been spotted in the Irish skies 2 nights in a row, baffling onlookers and fueling conspiracy theories.
Mhm.
But are these eerie sightings just the start of something bigger?
They're teasing everyone. They're thinking maybe it's something
tease.
bigger.
It's a tease. It's almost sort of like, oh, could it be this? Hmm?
Might it be the Guinness we've been drinking? It's funny how the aliens appear close to the Irish holiday.
Wee hours of the morning they're showing up here, lad.
Always after 1 o'clock when the bars close.
Actually, this is happening at 4 a.m. So there you have it. So some say satellites, others say swamp gas. I love swamp gas. I mean,
Yeah, how does swamp
seriously?
gas work? I know I've heard that before. Is that like the moon or the phosphates or something in the swamp gas? Something like
First
that?
of all, does that mean the whole Earth is a swamp? Because, guys, these things are being seen all over the place. Some claim that they're top secret government aircraft.
I wonder where they're just coming up with that claim. Like,
They're
why?
already using the A word.
Aliens?
Assholes.
Oh, that's way off.
Yeah. Yeah. See, at first I thought aliens, and then when I read in the article, it was like, no, these assholes think that it's messed up.
I mean, just from what you're telling me, I'm not getting I mean, you know, I think these days I think people are seeing more UFOs or calling them UFOs or thinking it's aliens just because more people are looking for them. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, now we're at
Yeah.
the point of we're hoping that it's that. And
It's got to be that.
Yeah, anytime something happens in the skies, now we're all just like, let's hope it's an alien. It's no longer. I wonder what that is.
Were they satellites? The International Space Station? Or something far less ordinary? Most
That makes
onlookers-
sense, though. The
Yeah,
space
no,
station
it
makes
could
sense.
be. Yeah, no, it could be. So this happened over Dublin. They blamed it on satellites. That was a plea from Alan O'Reilly of the Carlow Weather Center. He says he's received 2 videos from followers showing an unusual object in the sky over the last 2 nights. I looked at the video. It was like, oh, well, that looks like something moving in the sky, but you really can't see it. Several users were quick to offer grounded explanations, pointing out that low orbit satellites like Starlink are common in the area.
All right. Well, I think Ireland is reaching. I think they're reaching. I'm saying this is not a mostly true story. This is the first report I've heard out of Ireland. It's any better ones. I don't want to hear from a weatherman. Saw a video and it looks like it's something. Come to New Jersey, dude. Look up in our sky and you'll think everything's a UFO.
Okay.
I'm not getting down on Alan,
No,
our weatherman.
no.
I like him. I like Ireland. I love Ireland. But This story, I don't think is.
Oh,
All right, what else you got?
wow. Okay. Scientific American magazine released on March. This is why I'm fascinated with the Irish story, because this came out from Scientific America on March 25th as well. The U.S. government's top UFO scientist has an open mind about alien visitation.
What does he mean by this? You got an open mind. You're not shutting it off that it doesn't exist, is what he's saying?
So I think what he's saying is that all the reports that have said nothing here has shown that there are UFOs. I think this guy's come out and going, if there are, I'm open to it. You know what? I'm fine with it. If they come, I'm just perfectly fine with it. I'm content. This is coming from Jan Wolski, the director of the U.S. Department of Defense's All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. They want to hear from us, people, normal people, whether it's captured, declassified military footage, or just smartphone videos uploaded to social medias. Clearly, these sightings point to the involvement of space aliens, or perhaps just a global cable of humans with ultra spiffy, above top secret flying machines that routinely break the known laws of physics.
You think he's doing this interview and saying these things because the attitude is changing within the scientific community?
Yeah, and I really think that's why he's doing it. I think there's been too much stuff happening lately for him not to go, I'm open to it.
Does that mean, though, that they're setting the stage for us because they do know something? Or do you just think that we need to just say that we're open to this? We're not a closed-minded scientific group that says this does not exist.
I would probably know better if I actually saw the film Age of Disclosure.
Oh, God. There we go again with that. There's something about this interview that doesn't strike me as I know something's off about it, because when a celebrity, all of a sudden you see a celebrity all over the place, or on podcasts or on a talk show and all this stuff, then you realize they're promoting a movie. They're promoting some project they're working on. All of a sudden they're, certain times of year. I feel like this is what this is. I feel like he's setting us up for something, or he's getting ready. Because why do this interview now all of a sudden?
This is what's interesting. He says he's having a big push, finally being able to do this, for increased transparency, to find more efficient ways to share information with the public and the scientific community to help us in some of our investigations.
They want that user-generated support.
Yes. Would you say gremlins are good things to have around or bad things to have around?
Well, technically gremlins are bad.
But the Mugwai are not, like little Gizmo was not.
Yeah,
he was cute.
Well, if you're talking about Gizmo, yeah, I'd love to have Gizmo around.
Okay. But remember, don't feed him after midnight. Don't put him in direct sunlight.
Don't
and whatever you
water.
do, don't get him wet.
Yeah.
Just don't get him wet. Okay, so the AARO has reportedly deployed the Gremlin system. It's a multi-sensor network system for detecting, tracking, and characterizing UAPs in an undisclosed location.
I don't understand. It's like a UFO detector that you can buy on Amazon?
No, it's more high powered than that. He says here that Gremlin itself is going quite well and is very robust.
They're calling it Gremlin.
It's just dumb. That's just talk about a dumb name. That's a dumb name for this, Gremlin.
I mean, they had a meeting over this. They had their marketing department got together, and the scientists, they're just like, we need to really brand this so people embrace it and love it. Really think it's cute, but yet
dangerous.
Dangerous in a way.
And frightening, right?
Yeah. Well, what do you guys, what names do you guys have? What names?
I've got Cabbage.
There's no bad idea. So Cabbage. Okay. Yeah. I'd like to put one out. How about Kitty Cat?
I love kitty cats.
Yeah, I love cat. Who here doesn't like kitty cats?
Kitty cat.
Kitty cat.
See, that sounds good.
Motorboating son of a bitches.
So what if they just said that? Was reportedly deployed kitty cat.
Kitty cat.
Sounds better than Gremlin. I love this writing because it sounds beautifully written, but it says absolutely nothing. It says Gremlin itself is going quite well and is very robust. It has been running out in the wild for several months now, gathering data using radar, electro-optical and infrared cameras, and some electromagnetic sensors. Gremlin is pulling all that in and detecting events in real time. We haven't found anything particular interesting yet. Oopsie. But there are a few interesting sightings that are worth investigation.
It's in an undisclosed location, running wild. And by running wild, they're meaning that it's just transmitting all over the place.
Don't forget it's robust.
And it's robust.
It's doing a great job at it. It's robust.
Yeah.
How do you describe a a sensory system as robust. Don't you use that description as, man, I had an amazing Zinfandel last night. The flavor was so robust.
Woodsy.
Maybe that's a hint. That gremlin is in a heavily wooded area.
Why does it have to be in a undisclosed location? What is it doing to just keep it secret where it is?
They can't tell us where it is because then people will go there.
What are they going to see? It's a satellite. I don't fucking think I'm going to go look at this gremlin satellite machine.
Sure,
It's
they could
just-
tour.
Even so, what harm does that do for me to go see it? How's that get in the way of anything? This is one of those government expenditures that, in years to come, they're like, we spent $17 billion on Gremlin. And
We could have only spent 8 on Kitty Cat.
it's a weird interview and a weird way to tell us about Gremlin.
Well, to tell us about nothing.
All right, what else you got?
Okay, so I got other sightings. I've got other sightings for you this time.
You know what? I like this, the theme here. We got a lot of the sightings news this week.
Okay, so this was reported on January 22nd, 2025. So just recently, mysterious UFO sightings puzzle California residents and authorities.
California.
In a series of perplexing events, multiple UFO sightings have been reported and recorded over several days across California, particularly in the Fresno area. These sightings have sparked a wave of curiosity and concern as both residents and authorities are left pondering the origins of these unidentified flying objects. The string of sightings began with a mysterious light hovering over downtown Fresno in the early hours just past 4 a.m. Local news station Fox 26 captured the first sighting on camera, showing a light that appeared to move swiftly before coming to a stationary hover. Earl Gray Anderson, a field investigator for MUFON, reviewed the footage and classified it as an unidentified flying object. So, dude, they had a MUFON guy out there just say, it is an unidentified flying object.
I have a question.
Okay.
Gremlin didn't detect this? What's happening?
Oh, no, Gremlin saw it. They're just not telling us it saw it. They're so busy just gathering all that information.
Yeah.
He didn't say that Gremlin is actually going to give us the information. He just says it's gathering the information. And we have to wait to Gremlins 2 to come out. Gremlins 2, all the stuff is going to be revealed. This is the first batch.
Gremlin 1 only gathers.
Only gathers. Let's see what else it says here. It says the following day, news photojournalist Anthony Guevara documented another UFO sighting, this time in the daylight. The footage added to the mounting intrigue surrounding these mysterious occurrences. A few days later, a private pilot reported seeing a white object trailing his aircraft at an altitude of 3,500 feet over downtown Fresno. He's flying pretty low.
Yeah.
Despite radioing the local airport tower for assistance, the pilot lost sight of the object shortly after. So there is a video on X. Chris Bledsoe took a photo of this thing, and it's there. You can watch the video if you'd like. But it says several Fresno residents have also come forward with similar reports describing their encounters with unidentified objects. The recent sightings have reignited public fascination with UFOs. So there it was, what you were talking about earlier. Everybody's talking about UFOs all the time right now.
And California seems to be a hotbed for UFO sightings.
Yeah.
So people are looking for them. But I honestly think this is just advanced drones.
Okay, so you have to go look at the footage because it is a circular object that's like moving and then it's gone like that.
What is unsettling is when they just, these reports, they're saying, there's no explanation. So there's no explanation to me, then you really should categorize it as a UFO. It's a UFO until there is an explanation, because it's unidentified. You don't know what this is. So it could be alien in nature. All right. So what else?
I love Sting. I really do love Sting a lot. Here's the thing that I found out about Sting. Sting's eager to learn the truth about UFOs and the origin of crop circles, particularly one that mysteriously turned up on his property.
Where was his property?
His property is in England, where he says he saw a UFO. Together with a friend who remains unnamed, Sting witnessed a UFO while on a skiing vacation in Switzerland. They saw what looked like the top of a mountain lit up like a Christmas tree, and then the light sped away at super high speed. There's a lot of talk about Sting having these connections with the spiritual world because he's a devoted practitioner of yoga. He practices yoga all the time, and apparently he's like a guru, basically, that he can, take himself to other, like another dimension, kind of.
There's more of an
Yeah.
attraction to him from the otherworldly
That's
stuff,
what
is what he's saying,
yeah. Yeah.
because of his
So,
spirituality.
yeah. So Sting's wife Trudy discovered the crop circle on the couple's estate in England, in the same area where most of the crop circle formations have appeared. In some cases, UFOs have been seen and photographed hovering above crop circle sites. The video for Sting's song "I'm So Happy" from his Mercury Falling album shows little dancing green aliens.
I've never practiced yoga. I've taken some yoga classes. I understand the spirituality connection with yoga. It's interesting that he is so connected that through that's why he's having these experiences.
He's also big in paranormal phenomenon as well. And he says he's actually seen an apparition. It was quite something. I was terrified. I saw a woman and a child in my bedroom, and my wife saw them too. We both woke up. At first, I thought it was her with one of our kids until I reached over and realized she was still in the bed with me. I was absolutely terrified. They asked him at one time, they said, would you like to be haunting people in your next life? And Sting said, I would hope my music will do the haunting for me.
It's very cute, Sting.
You've already beat up on the Irish today. Don't go after Sting.
I'm not going to go near Sting.
Trouble.
All right, well that's cool. I mean, good for Sting.
Well, I'm sure I'm sure his chakras are all in the alignment and all of that stuff. By being
Probably got the straightest chakras ever. Probably so connected, his chakras. Okay, what else you got?
Movie recommendations.
Oh yeah, let's go. What do we got?
This one's so good. And this film, when it came out, was overlooked by a lot of people. It did pretty well at the box office, but it was kind of like one of those movies that people were like, An alien film, 2011. It's an action sci-fi film.
Okay.
Battle Los Angeles.
That's my number one. That's my number one movie. Because I have top threes. This is number one. This is my number one movie. I thought when this came out, and I'm jumping ahead of you here a little bit, I thought it was the most realistic attempt at what would possibly happen if there was a large-scale alien attack on Earth.
Agreed. It stars Aaron Eckhart, Michelle Rodriguez, Ramon Rodriguez, and Michael Pena. Here's a little synopsis. For many years, humans have reported various UFO sightings around the world, fueling speculation about the existence of life on other worlds. In 2011, mankind learns the truth the hard way. When alien invaders attack, one by one, the world's greatest cities fall, leaving Los Angeles as the battleground.
You know what's great about it is Aaron Eckhart's character, who's an army guy, big time. He's just days away from retiring.
Yeah, he's a sergeant. Yeah,
he's a sergeant. He's leaving, and then this alien invasion happens. And I guess there was an incident with him at a former battle where he lost all his guys. And so he sort of had this black shadow following him on that. But he ends up, we're not giving any spoiler alerts. You got to watch it because
2011. Come on, it's 14 years ago. If you haven't
seen
it,
you don't lose. Yeah, but you still want to see it. And there was a scene in this movie where they capture one of the aliens, and you got to figure out how they decide we got this alien. We got to figure out how to kill them. We have to figure out where do we shoot them? What do we do? So they're basically all of them are gathered around this guy. They're holding him down, and they are tearing him apart and cutting him open and trying to find out where his heart is. And it is one of the best scenes. You're just like, oh my God. But it totally makes sense. Everything they did in this made sense in terms of the mechanics of the UFO, the way they had to figure out how to destroy them, the action and the urgency. It was so you were just on the edge of your seat as all this is culminating, and they're going through, trying to rescue this group of civilians and just the traveling through Los Angeles. It was so well done and well written. It was so believable, and that's what I like about a good alien movie is from the effects guys, to the alien otherworldly sort of guys who have to think about how does this evolve, the story evolve. The writing is one thing, but then it's also connecting the writing to making us believe what we're seeing is plausible. And that
Right.
to me is this movie. I think Battle Los Angeles really does a great job in terms of, and other alien movies should like follow suit with this because it was well done.
And I love Aaron Eckhart and Michelle Rodriguez.
Do you
She's
think
such
that
a
that's how
badass.
it will go down if it is a violent hostile takeover, that it would just become, or do you think that we don't even have a shot?
I don't think we even have a shot. I mean, think about it, dude. If these things are flying light years away, right, and coming here, and they're here like that, right? You don't think they have a kind of like
Yeah.
Independence Day, a force field, and well, we're going to pull up the ship from Roswell, and that happens to be that same particular alien that was here prior. Come on.
Yeah, I think too. I agree with you. I think at the speed they can move too. If their ships can move so fast, that then
Yeah.
you can't fight that unless you have
No.
something of equal value. There's no way to go after that. But
Right.
a well done movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was terrific.
So you give it 2 thumbs way up? It's a feel good film of the summer?
Oh, those thumbs are way up there. Those thumbs are so high up there.
Can I see them? Can you give us a thumbs up?
Oh yeah.
There you go. We got 2 thumbs up from Neil. Would you say that I know you pretty well because I picked that film knowing it was your favorite film?
I think you cheated a little because we talked about that months ago. I think, and you waited till I forgot that we talked about it, and then you
Right.
brought that up. But yes, I'm really glad you actually talked about that movie because it is a great movie. Like
It's a good film.
I want to see it again.
It's on Netflix. You can watch it on Netflix.
It's happening right after this podcast recording.
I'm watching it
in
right
there.
now.
I'm gonna get in my pajamas. I'm gonna lay on my couch. I'm gonna eat peanut butter sandwiches, and I put it on. All right, is that all you got? That's it?
That's it, baby.
All right. Well, that's the latest from Andrew in the world of UFO gossip and the extraterrestrial buzz. And now I think it's time, Andrew, to get into our featured story.
Oh,
Here's
I'm
how it
so
works,
excited.
everybody. I'm going to tell the full account of a reported alien phenomenon, exactly as it was documented. Then Andrew and I are going to break it down piece by piece and decide if we think it's mostly true or mostly just a great story. And of course, we would love to hear from our listeners. And you got to drop your take into the comments. Let us know if you are convinced or not. And while you're at it, why don't you follow us, subscribe, and share the show with your friends. If you like it, your friends are going to like it because the truth is always more fun when you're not alone. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
Okay, let's do it. It was a quiet morning on May 10th, 1978 in Emilcin, Poland. It was a small, sleepy village of Emilcin. It's nestled in the Polish countryside. It's just like any other rural spot in Eastern Europe. It's simple, quiet. It's untouched by the modern world. They got fields that stretched out under the spring morning sun. The air is crisp. The sky was that pale blue that promised a day of honest work. And on this day, Jan Wolski, he's a 71-year-old farmer. He's no stranger to hard work. His life was one of routine labor and modesty. He's a man known for his integrity and calm demeanor. He was respected in the village, which made what happened to him so unbelievable. It's around 8 a.m. when Jan set out with his horse-drawn cart to finish some chores on the outskirts of Emilcin. The roads were rough and uneven, with birds singing from the treetops and wildflowers growing along the path. But as he approached a wooded area, he noticed something strange up ahead. 2 figures were standing in the middle of his path. His first thought was that they were villagers or perhaps just lost travelers. But as his cart drew closer, Jan realized these beings were nothing like anyone he had ever seen before. The 2 human-like figures stood side by side. They were motionless, and they're staring directly at him. They were short. They were only about 5 feet tall, and they're covered in tight, dark green suits. They looked
Ooh,
almost organic in nature.
I like the suits.
I know you do. The tight and dark green gets me every time. Their skin appeared pale with a faint greenish hue, and their eyes were almond-shaped, set at an angle, and almost like a cat's eyes. Kitty cat.
It's kitty cat theme. I love it.
Jan noticed that their hands had only 3 thick fingers, and they had no visible ears or noses, just small slits where the mouth might be. We've heard that before.
Slit mouth. They call it slit mouth.
Yes, good old slit mouth alien. Their movements were peculiar, stiff yet deliberate, as if they were unfamiliar with how to use their bodies. That's an interesting take. Like they just
Were they doing the
think
robot? Were they like,
well, it almost sounds like they were like, we should take the form of a human. This is what we think the human looks like. And then they're in it, and it's just very uncomfortable for them.
they're like, we are walking for the first time.
Why do all aliens sound like this? Okay, so one of the beings made a beckoning gesture, like signaling for Jan to approach.
Come closer.
Yeah, but against every rational instinct, he did. Jan approached him. That was easy. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was the odd calmness that seemed to settle over him, a sense of peace rather than fear. So he wasn't afraid. He was inquisitive, in a sense.
Okay.
So that, I guess, I mean, if you see aliens doing this to you, or you're gonna be like, okay, I'm coming just a second. Let me just grab my bottle of water and put the cart over on the side of the road. I'll be right there. I don't think so. I don't know. Anyway, as Jan neared the bean, as he got closer to the beans, they motioned toward a clearing. So now they're waving him over. So he follows them. Then they point over towards a clearing, down the road, I guess.
Okay.
And that's when he sees this strange white barrel-shaped object. It was just hovering about
like
3 feet off the ground. It's the aliens trailer. The aliens trailer.
These are like, white trash aliens.
Yeah, they're dropping candy, and he's just following it. He's just like, oh, come on in the trailer.
Can I ask something? What's the horse doing during this time? The horse is chilled?
Yeah, I mean, there's no reports about the horse, but I guess the horse is just calm, yeah.
If it freaked the horse out, there's no way he would have been able to take his horse-drawn carriage over there. Right?
He probably just left it there. I mean, he's familiar with the path. The horse is too. I don't think it's on familiar grounds, right? And I think
but the two aliens didn't freak the horse out, and he felt calm.
Well, the aliens were just standing there, and they just went like this. They were just motioning. It's not like they were going, yeah.
Did they go? Were they like, bring it on back?
Yeah,
bring it here.
All right. It's funny to me picturing a 71-year-old man pulling his horse-drawn carriage, and these two aliens just stand in the middle of the road, and he doesn't ask a fucking question. He's just, and they just look at him and go like this, and they just, motion for him to follow them. And he's just like, okay. I mean, I wonder what this kid was like when he's growing up. Like, his parents probably were like, you cannot get into another stranger's car, Jan. Do not do that, Jan.
I like to go in cars with people. They have puppies and candy and ice cream. I love ice cream.
All right, so they motion towards this clearing, and then Jan sees this strange white barrel-shaped object. It's hovering about 3 feet off the ground. It had no visible windows or seams, just a smooth, rounded surface with protruding extensions resembling pipes. That's how he explained it in the reports. So to his surprise, a small platform. Now he's even more surprised, to his surprise.
Right. So the green skinned almond slit mouth.
Yep.
Beckoning him over. That's nothing.
That was nothing compared to this.
I've never seen anything like this before.
Oh my gosh.
That's my favorite line. I've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah. All right. Exactly. A small platform extends from the craft, and it forms a sort of ramp leading to an opening, obviously into the ship. And the beings, again, motion for him to climb aboard. So here they are. They're probably looking at each other going, this is the easiest freaking abduction we've ever had in our life.
Wait,
I don't have to use any floating powers or mind control.
78, right?
71. Oh, in 1978. Yeah. He was 71 years old.
He was 71. Did he hear love, exciting and new?
I wonder if he thought he was having a stroke.
They're expecting you.
Yeah. Well, listen, so the beings, they motion him to climb aboard, and now he's feeling more curious than afraid. So I guess he was a little afraid, but now he's feeling more curious. So Jan was like, yeah, what the shit, I'll go on. I mean, it's odd. I mean, I don't know. I guess that maybe this guy was just, not afraid of much, but he was more curious than afraid. It sounds like Peter Sellers stars in this movie called Being There, and he just basically stumbles through life. He's a gardener, Chauncey Gardner, and he goes and just one stupid event happens to the next, and he's uneducated. He's not very bright, and one way or another becomes the president of the United States. Maybe this is how it goes down for Jan. It just he's just like, okay,
He's going to be president of the Alien Association.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
just
we've
gonna
been watching
follow.
you.
Yeah.
You're just an idiot. We want
Yeah.
you to be our president.
So Jan does as he's directed. He gets into the ship, the easiest alien abduction ever. And inside the craft, it was dimly lit with a soft green glow. It emanated from the walls. That sounds cool. There was no apparent control panels, just a series of rounded compartments and a faint hum vibrating through the air. He says the air smelled faintly of ozone and metal. What's ozone smell like?
Oh, I mean, the ozone layer, that's a layer of the atmosphere. I'm not sure
but
what it smells like.
there's an ozone and metal. That's how he reported it. Once he's in the craft. So as Jan's eyes adjust to being in there, he saw 4 more beings inside. So these 2 guys waved him in. He gets in. There's 4 more in there.
Wait
Now
a
they're
minute.
all doing this. This is what they do. All 6 of them are just like this. They're just waving their arms. And Jan's like, okay. And then
He starts doing it.
that's right. They were all identical to the ones who had led him into the ship. And then all the aliens high-five like, yeah, dude, we got another old man. No, that's not in the report. Okay, they were so the aliens, these guys were arranging small objects on a table, seemingly uninterested in Jan's presence.
They weren't that excited he was there.
No, I guess not. They just had their job to do. They had to get it done in time for Jan. So Jan also noticed several bird-like creatures. They were dead and lying motionless on a nearby platform. At that point, I'd be thinking, if I were Jan, why the fuck did I just follow these aliens into the ship?
Looks like there are dead birds over there.
Jan's like, oopsie doodle, I shouldn't have done this.
Fuck.
As he says, Jan says it looked like they were being examined or prepared for something.
Dinner?
I just don't understand it. Why the aliens would have dead birds in their ship. The beings motioned for him to undress. Now they're like, we got him this far, and he's doing everything we ask without putting up a fight. Maybe we can get Jan to undress.
So they're giving him the undress? Is this
Yeah.
the undress?
Yeah, that's right. They're all like, yeah, undress. And then
he's
they're
like,
all and then
I
all
think
6
I will undress. I like to undress with these
don't-
aliens.
I-
They are very kind to me.
they got
so
their birds
nice.
on the floor.
They
Dead
have
birds.
prepared some dinner with birds for me, and I will get naked for them.
They
And
seem
I will
very
roll
nice.
around in the birds because this is what they do. I will cover myself in feathers, and I will be a big bird because they have brought me as their leader.
Meanwhile, the aliens are all taking their pants off. Yeah.
They're getting out of their tight suits.
Yeah. This is happening, everyone. Get together.
They're all excited. The aliens are just like, we got one, and this guy's a live wire. He's a party animal. We just killed all those birds by fucking them. Now we've got an old man. We're going to be really excited about that. Yeah, see, they didn't say that in the story.
They're like, hey, you guys want to go to Emilcin and see if we can get an old man in our ship?
They're like, hell yeah, Fred, you go. Just wave him on, and I bet you this guy he'll just come on board the ship.
Those villagers in Emilcin are so easy.
They are, dude. We had 6 last week in here. We still haven't cleaned up all the dead birds from before. We got to do that.
All right, so the beings, they're now motioning Jan to undress, and he actually did hesitate to do so. And when he didn't comply, they didn't insist. Instead, one of the beings produced a strange object resembling a handheld scanner, which they just passed over his body several times, emitting a faint hum and soft click.
I have never seen anything like this. I would like to experience it. So then he took his clothes off.
So now Jan is trying to speak to them, but they didn't respond. And their focus just remained on their tasks, as if he were just another specimen to the catalog. I think at this point, I would be a little concerned because there are dead birds and they're not responding to him. I would be like regretting, why did I follow them in here at this point? I'd be a little worried. After what felt like minutes, according to him, but could have been longer. The beings then motioned for him to leave. So this is all that really happened on the ship, according to Jan. And Jan just walked back down the platform and looked over his shoulder, and then the craft began to rise. It just drifted slowly upward before it zipped off into the sky at incredible speeds, and it left behind no trace of its presence. So now Jan is shaken. He's confused. He hurries home to his family, and he tells his wife and sons what had happened, but they were very understandably skeptical.
They did not have sex with you?
Where's the horse? So despite the initial disbelief, word quickly spread around the village, and soon local authorities were notified, and the police conducted interviews and even examined the clearing where Jan claimed the craft had landed. They found strange impressions in the ground, as if something heavy had been hovering over the grass. And the Polish Academy of Sciences then took an interest in the case and sent a UFO investigator by the name of Zbigniew Blania-Bolnar.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Blania-Bolnar.
So he came and interviewed Jan and examined the site. And Blania-Bolnar was known for debunking UFO reports. That was his whole thing. But in this case, he found Jan's testimony highly credible. I wonder what made him think it was highly credible.
The $50,000.
The rights to his book. So Jan Wolski was subjected to extensive questioning and was even asked to undergo hypnosis, but his story just remained consistent. He seemed genuinely bewildered by the experience, never trying to profit or gain attention. In the aftermath, of course, skeptics, they immediately argued that Jan might have hallucinated the encounter, I guess because of his age, or misinterpreted natural phenomena. I'm not sure what that means. If you misinterpret natural phenomena, aliens waving to you, bringing you onto a ship.
A floating trailer in the sky is natural phenomenon. I see this all the time in Poland.
Yeah, dead birds, all.
Yes, the birds are always dead by the trailer. It happens all the time in Poland.
Natural. Did you
Discredit
misinterpret
Walensky, Wolski, whatever his name is. He's an idiot. Jan, who cares? Go.
The other claim they made was that the beings could have been local pranksters in costumes, or that Jan might have dozed off and dreamed the whole thing. But Jan didn't get upset about those claims. His calm demeanor and consistent story made it difficult to dismiss his claims. And those who knew him well vouched for his honesty and practicality. A great story, and in 2005, decades after this incident, the small town of Emilcin erected a memorial at that site commemorating the event. And the plaque actually reads, on May 10th, 1978, in Emilcin, a UFO landed. The truth will still astonish us.
Do you see what it looks like? Have you seen a picture of it?
I have not.
Oh, it's cool. It's got like a cube on top.
Really?
Yeah, it's about 7 or 8 feet tall. It's like bronze. It's kind of cool looking. It's the only thing that's in Emilcin. You can drive through the town.
You're done.
You're done.
The site has since become a local tourist attraction. People come all over Poland to ponder the mystery. Similar cases. There's no other alien abduction. We always talk about what really kind of happened around the time, or if there was anything related to it. There were no other alien abduction cases in Poland that have mirrored Jan's experience.
Right.
A wave of UFO sightings occurred in Eastern Europe throughout the late 70s and early 80s. The Soviet Union also reported increased sightings and strange encounters, though many of these were suppressed or dismissed as mass hysteria. Jan passed away in 1990, lived a long life. He never wavered in his story. He remained a humble farmer until the end, and slightly haunted by the bizarre encounter that I guess changed his life. To this day, there's no definitive evidence that can prove or disprove Jan's story, and skeptics maintain it was a fabrication or hallucination, while believers consider it is one of Eastern Europe's most credible UFO encounters. That is this story, and now I'm going to pass it off to you, Andrew, and we are going to then decipher whether we think this is a mostly true alien story or not.
I found some fascinating things. They spoke to people in the village about Jan, and although he was a upstanding citizen in the town, a lot of people questioned his mental awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he liked to drink a lot. There could be the possibility that Jan was drunk. and this happened. They did speak to other villagers as well, asking them. Some people said that they had seen strange lights in the sky nights prior to this whole thing happening with Jan, but nothing was verified. So this is what I found to be the most interesting dirt that I dug up.
This is the kind of dirt that will sway you one way or another.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. So Dr. Blarney Bolnar, who was the ufologist that you said came and did the investigation and believed Jan as a truth teller about this alien abduction. In the UFO circuit, Bolnar is not seen as a creditable source.
Even as a debunker, he's not
even as a
considered...
debunker. He wasn't seen as one of the best guys to do it. Apparently, the guy that everybody wanted to do the storytelling was, we told Warzenek. And the two, according to Lech Stefensky, had this bitter rivalry.
Wait, there was debunker rivalries?
Debunker rivalries, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this is crazy. This is where it gets crazy. Now, Lech Stefensky is a hypnotist who reported this, and he hypnotized Warzenek.
Wait a minute. Who's Warzenek?
Warzenek is the rival. We told Warzenek is the rival to Bolnar. They both are UFO specialists.
I got you.
And they both are battling to be the best debunker or the best truth teller.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. But this has nothing to do with Jan right now. This is just
this is just between these two guys. Right.
Okay. Gotcha.
So because Warzenek came out and said, it's not true, it's a lie. And Bolnar said, no, it is true. Jan's story is true. Warzenek says it never happened. So there was a wager that was made because, a lot of people that are abducted, they do hypnosis. Warzenek believed that during hypnosis, you couldn't make people believe stuff that wasn't true. And Bolnar said, yes, you can. You can make people believe stuff that wasn't true.
Okay.
So this guy, Lech Stefansky, came in and he hypnotized Warzenek. He made him produce false memories that never happened. So when Warzenek came out of the hypnosis, he was telling people, oh my God, this happened to me. Isn't that weird? He was able to do that. He said the word like, it's freaking, he made him produce false memories and it worked. So what happened was Warzenek got really pissed at Bolnar because Bolnar was right. And so it created even more rivalry between the two of them. So Warzenek has produced several books in Poland about UFOs. And so this bitter rivalry between the two of them really started taking digging their claws into poor Jan.
Yeah.
And so they were just like beating up the story on both sides.
Okay.
And since then, Warzenek he swore to get payback against Bolnar. I will get you. You will die.
We're going to fight to the death.
You will see that I'm coming for you, Bolnar. And when I find you, I'm going to kill you like those birds on the ship by fucking you to death.
Your references Jan's experience specifically.
As his own. Those were the false memories that they put into his head. Okay, you are going to say that you fucked a bunch of birds and they are dead.
Because of your tiny dick.
The birds! I killed them all by fucking them. Just like those aliens. So crazy.
All right, so what are you saying about this then?
Okay, what I'm saying is this. I just thought it was interesting that, because you brought up Bolnar, and I knew that you would because it was part of the story and all of that there was this rivalry between, why can't everybody just like chill and like work together and but no.
Was Bolnar his statement about Jan being credible, that's part of this battle though?
No, what it is that Bolnar is not a credible ufologist according to what people are saying. Not just Warzenek. A lot of the UFO people don't believe Bolnar.
Okay.
They think he's out for money. They think that he fabricates stories. He makes things more elaborate than what they are. So he's not seen as a credible resource. Okay. And so when this happened, Warzenek heard this and he's like, well, I'm going to prove to you that it's true because I'm saying it's not because I'm the credible guy.
Yeah.
And then Bolnar said, well, I'll show you. I'll hypnotize you and make you think that you did all these things. And it worked. Right. And he was so pissed that he was able to do that.
Got it.
So Warzenek did not believe that that Jan had been taken. Molnar says that Jan was taken.
Andrew, do you think this is a mostly true alien
No.
story or not?
No, I don't. I don't think it's mostly true at all. I think either Jan was drunk or he was like hallucinating at 71, riding his horse and carriage out to the thing. I mean, seriously, come on, man. Like, they beckon you over and you're just like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I'll go.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it didn't make any sense. They told him to take his clothes off. Then they used a scanner thing, and then they just said bye. I mean, what was the purpose of the whole thing? There was no other people that saw it. Nobody else saw it.
It's in a very desolate village area.
Yeah, but come on, everybody knew Jan, and Jan's family weren't like, wow, he hasn't come back for a while. I wonder where he is. Oh, you know, Papa, he's with the aliens.
All right, so Andrew does not think this is a
No.
mostly true alien story.
I think it's Mad Dog 2020 is what I think it is.
All right, so let me weigh in now. Here's where it goes off the rails for me a little bit. Is I can take the whole aliens appearing and bringing them on the ship kind of thing. Where it goes off the rails for me is just from what stories we've told. They're not just beckoning to you to come on. I think it was more of a fantasy for him. The other thing is that when you go home to your family, if they're questioning you, there's a reason. Like if I came home today and I said to my family, I was abducted by aliens, guys, I'm fucking freaked out about it, they wouldn't question me at all. They wouldn't question it. They would dive more into the story. They would ask more. They would really get into it. There would be support. There would be all this stuff. If his family's initial reaction was just like, oh, Jan, we don't believe you. So I'm thinking that he was sort of on that tail end of maybe mental decline, but maybe he did drink a lot. It's just the actions of the aliens and then the reaction of his family to me where this is disconnected. I do not think this is a mostly true alien story at all. Yeah, I don't. He probably had too much to drink, or that with a combination of maybe a little aging mental decline. And I'm not saying 71 is old. And you know what? And I like that he had that fantasy. Maybe that was nice for him. Maybe it was more comforting. But I definitely do not think that this was a mostly true alien story. So it is not doesn't go into my file as a true story.
Okay, so then we need to go to Poland and tear that monument down.
Well, so good for Emilcin, for deciding to take that on. And I wonder why decades later they decided to do that. I think it all comes down to tourism. It all comes down to money. I think they could do more with it. I'd love to see that ship built out on there, and maybe a replica of Jan and the aliens, waving, just waving to him to come into the ship. I think that's a good one. All right, well, that's it for this episode of Mostly True Alien Stories. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share. And make sure to catch us next week for another deep dive into the bizarre, and unexplained, and maybe mostly true. Until then, keep your eyes on the sky and your mind wide open.
Hi.
UFO sightings. Many Americans have wondered about our